that?
Weird Realities Network presents Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales, where we pull up a log, roast a marshmallow, and settle in as these two blondes talk spooky tales, urban legends, and classic horror icons. Exciting guests, perky blondes, and sinister tales makes this podcast as good as a double stack s'more. So let's join Bethany and Krystal as they gather around the campfire in Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales. We are here with our episode 5 tonight of 3. We have author Jim. Jim, how do you pronounce your last name? I don't want to get it wrong.
Well, it's James Escalada. That's what's on the books. So we should probably go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That way they can find you.
Yes.
Yeah, that way they can find me. Yeah.
Well, we have it written on the title as James, so that way people are able to search you and find you on there. But we're excited to have you on. I know you and we met at Tucson Comic-Con last year. So
Yeah.
That's kind of how we met each other. And we've been chatting back and forth a bit. And we figured it'll be fun to have you on the show, talk about your books that you got going on.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, they're not really... I was listening to your very professional interview or intro, and they're not, about scary things or campfire tales or, vampires or anything. But I like them. So, yeah. Yeah. So should I show them? I have a stack of them right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and show us what you got there?
Okay. So can you see this well? I don't know.
Yes.
All right. So this is the first one I wrote. It's called The Gentle Giraffe, and I was told there's kind of an obscure or review online where they said it was like Aesop's Fables, but a modern Aesop's Fables. I don't know if that's really true. That girl was overly wordy in the review, but it was a very flattering review. You can find that on TikTok, and then this is the new one I wrote, The Lonely Little Jellyfish. So, which is kind of about my dating life, tragically, but whatever. There you are. And actually, this version, because I did, I'm a Tucson author. Are you guys all Tucson based? Is that what's going on here?
Well,
they are.
Rikki and I are in Tucson. Krystal's from Tucson, but she currently lives in Washington.
Okay. Well, for the Tucson audience, and this is in some local bookstores like Antigone Books, another really sweet bookstore called The Littlest Bookstore, or Bookstop. And these were like locally printed, so I printed some locally, and then Jeff Bezos helped me print the ones that are on Amazon, which are these ones. So I love that he pays me, or I like to say that he pays me. It's the royalties aren't that much, but he pays me, so I kind of like that. But yeah, these are the ones on Amazon, but there's other like sort of different versions that are on in those local bookstores, because I really like to have stuff on the shelf in a real brick and mortar store. I think that's kind of cool. So I do that, and then I think I sent it to you, Bethany, some preliminary sketches and stuff about the graphic novel. Yeah, you have those?
Yeah, I'm. You keep talking. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here.
Okay, well, I don't have to talk that much. You guys can give me
I mean, that's what you're here for.
We've got Willa and the Whale.
Yeah, Willa and the Whale, and then there was like a really sort of ugly sea monster.
This guy right here.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome. So I don't know. That's for my graphic novel that's coming out. I got kind of inspired. Actually, you helped me, Bethany, with that, because we were kind of in the artist alley of Tucson Comic-Con, and there were a lot of comic books. Some were good, and then some were a little atrocious. But I thought, well, I want to do that. Like, it would be really cool cool. But this is all personally financed by me. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait on that a little bit. My salary is not what it should be. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm a little slow on that, and we'll see. Um, but it's that's my little thing that I'm doing now, and it's kind of awesome. So, or I think it's relatively awesome. So yeah, there you go. They're not really things that are kind of in line with this podcast, but but whatever. I decided to walk Artist Alley because there were a lot of like goth inspired people selling books, and like I don't know, there were some ladies with bottles of wine on the table. There was no wine in them, but you know. So I told my friend who's cripplingly shy, like we have to go over there and talk to all those beautiful women, and kind of I like to smile and I don't know, be friendly with people. So and I've always had a thing for I don't know, the dark or whatever, the like goth ladies who kind of adopt that. So it was really fun, and your book was really really good.
Oh yeah. Well, thank
I
you.
liked it. I liked it a lot. Your book was very very good, and it was nice to meet you. And I've met everybody in Artist Alley, so um, yeah, it was nice to meet everybody.
Right on. So you say that a lot of your stuff is kind of similar to Aesop's Fables in a way?
Well, I mean, that's what that one reviewer said. I think my stuff is kind of autobiographical in a way. Like I said, The Lonely Little Jellyfish is kind of about my heartbreaking dating life. And so it's a little personal like that. And then the other one is about, I say it's a fable about a simple act of kindness. But it's very, very cute illustrations. I mean, like really, really sort of she got it as far as I used to be a kindergarten teacher, so it kind of comes from that in a way. But it's all sort of autobiographical, how I was raised, and I kind of put myself in the characters. So I like to say that sometimes I'm the giraffe and sometimes I'm the jellyfish. And if you read them, I don't know if you guys bought them or not. Probably not. But if you bought them, and you kind of look at the characters, you can see different aspects of my personality. So I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Totally.
I wrote them about 20 years ago. So, it was something that like I just kind of dusted off, and so I think I can publish this, and now it's easier to publish things, online, and the quality is pretty good. So yeah, I figured I'll do this, and it's really cool because you can interact with the internet. Is an interesting place because you can, like, one of my illustrators for the Gentle Giraffe was from Mississippi, and he did canvas paintings that are like acrylic and watercolor put together, and then we took digital photos of them. So that was kind of cool. And then the other one, she was from Barcelona and she didn't speak any English, so I had to translate my little story into Spanish.
Oh
And
wow.
then and I didn't use Google Translate. I used Jen's Spanish, um, and kind of we had to do some negotiations about that. So, but it was really cool because she was on the other side of the world, and so when I was awake at 4 a.m, we could talk about things, and it was kind of fun. So yeah, I hope to do other things. I think this one will be Will and the Whale when I finish that graphic novel. I think it'll be that she's like a punk rock teenager from the '90s who is like friends with all these animals and uses she uses starfish as like ninja throwing stars. She uses electric eels to like tackle sea monsters, stuff like that. So it's a little more. I think it's a little more for a slightly older audience. And then I want half the book to be kind of sweet because it's like as she grows up and gains all her powers, So I want the first half to be really sweet, and then part of me wants the second half to be like a bloody manga and kind of dark in nature, just because, just for fun, And so I think it's gonna be an interesting book when I finish that, but I have to find an artist that's like affordable, and there's a lot of panels that come with graphic novels, and so I think it'll be quite expensive actually to do that one, but whatever. Eventually I'll do it. But we're working on it now, and it's kind of cool to see your characters turn into things, because it's just a character that I wrote on a page, and then somebody makes a visual representation, and I don't give any instruction at all about what I want it to look like.
Yeah.
And I kind of do that on purpose, because I just want to see what they come up with. So it's kind of a longer process in a way, because I'm not giving them any, allowing them a lot of artistic license, but I think it's cool, and it's probably harder for them than it needs to be, but I don't know, it's kind of cool for me. So
Well, it's kind of neat to see that interpretation someone has of your stories. Real quick though, I know you're on your phone on that. I just was going to see if you could check where your finger placement is. I don't know if it's blocking your microphone a little bit. It's
is it
going
okay.
in and out just a little bit?
I'll take it. I'll take my finger away.
Oh, there you go.
No finger for you.
I just know because I'll hold my phone like this, and so my mic's down here. So sometimes I think it's down here. I don't know. So sometimes it blocks it.
Yeah, I'm kind of an analog guy, so I gave him my flip phone 2 years ago. So yeah, this is all. It's a new one. And I'm not that old, but I don't know. I just like retro stuff. So yeah.
Well, you were talking about your character in the new one, and in that picture you sent me, what I think is funny is you've got is this an anglerfish?
Yeah, I think so. The deep
it's like a
sea
monster one, right?
What?
It's like a monster one though, right?
Yeah, I wasn't an anglerfish. I'm not a microbiologist. I'm like a kindergarten teacher, so I didn't quite know what an anglerfish was, but yeah, but I think it's the monster fish that lives at the bottom of the ocean. The one with the light that the people chase after. Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
What I like
that one a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, this is a tangent, but that one a few weeks ago that was it
TikTok?
was dying, but it was alive and it came up to the surface. It was I want to see the sun before I die.
That one, man, that tugged on my heart.
There was one that was dying and it came up to the surface?
Yeah, it was coming up to the surface, but a lot of people think it's just because it was getting bloated and it couldn't stop from going to the surface. So someone filmed it, but everyone was in shock of actually seeing it, and then most people were in shock on how big, how little it was, because it was actually this big.
Really?
Oh, I didn't realize it was so small.
It was so tiny because there was a video of the guy filming it. And when you actually saw the fish, you were like, oh my gosh, I thought those things were huge and they're this big.
Yeah, I thought they were really big too.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of weird that such a small fish surfacing would garner press. What I don't know. Yeah.
Well, because they live so deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But what I like is in your picture, you have it, okay, and it's all like raw and stuff, and it looks like it has tentacles and things too. That's why it looks like it's like a creature version of it.
Yeah.
But then you've got your character, and on the character it goes, "Take that, you bug-eyed bottom dweller."
Yeah.
And he's like throwing a little ninja star at it.
I must take credit for that line. That's my line. Yeah. I was trying to get like the comic book language, down, because I think that's kind of funny. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good line.
It was pretty good.
I like
So
it.
Yeah.
anglerfish live at roughly between 650 to 6,500 feet below the surface.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why
They
it
have
was
a
on
little light on their head because there is no light down there.
Yeah.
Well, and it attracts their prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what they were saying is often, like, because it was dying, it couldn't fight the current that was bringing it up.
Hmm.
And then sometimes it gets bloated with the air from it dying or something like that. Or couldn't expel it, and so that's what was taking it up. But then, of course, TikTok got a hold of it, and it was like, it wanted to see the sun. That thing doesn't know what the sun is. It doesn't.
It does.
It
Let
doesn't
us
know.
have our fantasies, okay? You're
It's
an
just
author.
going
You
towards
should
the
let
light.
people have their fantasies.
You go towards the light, but if the light's on your head, man, you're just going for it.
Circle.
Yeah, you get the one who it's on the side, and you're just in circles all the time.
So what's interesting, what you were talking about there was like three things that popped up immediately. One, it's educational and multi-language.
Yeah.
You've already got it in Spanish translation, huh?
Yeah, and actually, she wants me to do a Spanish version because she bought a bunch, to pass out in Spain. Because that's cool too, because it's where my family's from. So actually, there are some of my books are floating around Spain right now. So that's kind of cool. But she wanted me to do a Spanish version, and I told my mom, and she's like, "Okay, but we have to make sure your Spanish is correct." And you can't use any of the border slang because I like those words. But we'll have to see, what I could do. And again, like I'm marketing everything. It's my thing, and so I don't know. It has to go slow because I don't have all the. Nobody's promoting my book. You guys are helping me right now, which I really appreciate. Yeah, so it's just me, going in there and trying to get books on shelves and smile and be relatively clever and try to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to, I know you kept saying that you're not really part of like our theme, but you are our theme because we do it. The title's Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales. So the books in there, I mean, we've interviewed authors who, Krystal, your friend, it was the
romance novel.
Yeah, romance novel.
Yeah. And then I know we have another author coming on later this season, William Bowser, that he's a music producer, and his book is more about that, and it's more like, I don't think self-help is the right word, but like motivational, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we had Vic Ferrari on several times, and he's a NYPD detective. Who just writes comedy. So like we have our stuff we fall back on, but books and just speaking with authors and stuff, like we love doing that. We love, especially indie authors, we love promoting people. So no, you're right there. You're right in our realm.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know because I was a little insecure about what I'm doing. I talked to people during Easter, and I was like, oh my God, they need to give me 10 minutes and cut me off and tell me.
No.
Well, you're at 20 and still going, so you're good.
well, no, I mean, you at any point you could be like, okay, Jim, we're done. Like, we're done with that. And that's totally okay. Yeah, it was. The only author I checked out your, the podcast and just kind of what you guys do, and you're really hilarious. But the ones that I really watched were like, I forget what his name was, but he's written a lot of stuff and he's obsessed with marshmallows and like
Jonathan Mayberry.
Morse.
Yeah, you guys were like, there was there was a lot of conversation about marshmallows.
Hold on,
I don't know why that was happening, but I mean, I know why it was happening.
Well, don't worry, Jim, because Rachel says that our show survives on cats and tangents.
It does.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Olive's behind me. Yeah, there she is.
I'm surprised, Indy. He's actually sitting behind me on the couch.
And there's Halo. She's waiting. Oh,
Yeah, Halo's our ghost cat.
Okay, well, a ghost cat? Really?
Yeah, she recently passed, unfortunately.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But she lives on.
Yep.
I thought
She lives on in spirit.
maybe a cat in a ghost costume was,
Oh, I should do that for Indy later.
Yeah, Olive would never let me do that, so I volunteer Indy.
You need to put Olive in like a pumpkin costume, and I'll put Indy in a ghost costume.
Yeah, like
I have a
pumpkin
unicorn
costume.
head for Olive. She hates it.
Do you have any animals, Jim?
I have a dog, Ruby, and she's in both my books, actually. I don't know if I can show you a picture, but I don't know. Did you guys buy my book? Because I've sold a lot of books just recently in the last couple of weeks. I thought perhaps.
Yeah, but if I didn't get it in time to read it ahead of time, I failed as a podcast host with that. And then, but I'm like, once I do get them, I can give them to my nephews. So
Yeah.
How do you look up your books?
And maybe that's good. It's on because if you think it's horrible, then you could just be like, okay, I'm glad I didn't.
No.
I mean, I'm pretty sure my nephews will like them, especially the giraffe. I'm pretty sure we all have a core memory of the last time I went with them to the zoo. And we watched the giraffe. Oh, cute.
Yeah.
We watched the giraffe drink another giraffe's urine at the zoo. So they love giraffes because little boys love watching things like that. It was midstream too, by the way. Midstream.
Who drank the urine? Who drank the urine?
Another giraffe.
Drank the adult giraffe's urine midstream.
Well,
and every time I talk to them, they like to bring it up. So I'm pretty sure they'll like a book about a giraffe.
Okay, well, I'm glad it wasn't anybody on the show.
No, this was just at the zoo.
It's what they do.
Well, guys, my job is a therapist, so if there is a urine drinking problem, we can take care of that.
Okay.
That's the thing.
So where can we find your books at again? If we're not in Tucson, how can we get your books?
Okay, so they're available. Those versions that I showed you first, I think, if I was holding it up correctly, are available on Amazon right now. And Rachel, is it Rachel? Yeah.
Yes.
Rachel, did you buy you bought my book, right? Or
Krystal. Sorry, I thought you meant our viewer who was commenting.
Krystal bought my book. So you can find both of them on Amazon. And everything, I market it locally in Tucson, but then I also print different versions for Amazon, or they print them. It's independently published or whatever.
Yeah. Now, do you have different illustrators for the different versions of your books?
No, it's the same illustrator. I just use different illustrations.
Okay.
She loved this one. I kind of hated this one. But my mother overruled me, and I had to go with what she said.
Sometimes you have to do what mom says.
Yep.
So I hated this one, but I like this one. So that was the compromise.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can see it good.
The
colors are nice on there.
Yeah, so I do change the format. Let me see. Oh, let me get the other Tucson version. See, it's the lonely little jellyfish that you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Poor jellyfish.
Although I didn't want like the crying one on Amazon, so this is like the funnier version.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. So you do have two different kinds for the same book, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same book.
The
What?
jellyfish. I said I like the goggles on the jellyfish.
Oh, I like
Yeah,
the sad
yeah.
jellyfish.
You put a lot of-
He's so cute and sad.
yeah. Well, that was the idea. I mean, it's like it's a gelatinous love story. So that's part of the deal.
That word is not used enough, gelatinous.
No. I feel
Yeah.
like
In
they use that
Dungeons and
more.
Dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to use it. It used to be my name. We used to wrestle in the pool as teenagers. And we
Okay.
would make wrestler names.
Nice.
I don't think we
And
did that in my house.
No,
Is that with your brother?
no, that was with my brothers.
I'm like, I
So-
don't remember calling it that.
No, I don't think we ever
Right.
wrestled in the pool at your house. That was at my house.
Was
And
it like?
it was gelatinous something, gelatinous Goldilocks or something like that.
Oh, really? Hold on.
Lime flavored. I don't
I
know.
like the imagery with like I like that I got a mental picture of something interesting.
Well, that's what we do here, apparently.
So, what is your target audience?
I'm not really sure. I mean, you're supposed to do that with. I'm not a marketing guy. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So, yeah, you're supposed to when you put things on Amazon, you're supposed to like tell a demographic that you want, and so I just put whatever 4 to 18 or something like that. But I do think that really they're about kindergarten or first grade level, maybe second grade, because of the way the text is laid out in one of the books.
Mhm.
And actually the guy who helped me with the first book, like, because I work with this company that kind of edits things so that I make sure that it's like professionally done. And he was a super nice guy, and he works at Arizona Lithographers. I'll plug the place, and they print my book. But he actually had some medical issues right as he was going to sell my book like nationwide, because he knew people in schools that were going to that get books for schools that go into like the reading programs that they have for schools, where there's like a box of books that all the teachers are supposed to read to kids and stuff. And so that would have been like millions of books, and it would have been distributed all over the country. But unfortunately, he had a medical problem, and so he was unable to sell it to their marketing guy. So that's really unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate on a lot of fronts.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I really don't know. But the demographic, I think, is that, and like kindergarten and second grade, to second grade. And it kind of fits with me being a teacher. Now, the one that's kind of like a 90s punk rock manga will definitely be, for older kids. And we'll see. I have a couple more ideas about one with a dragon and some that are more like fantastical.
Oh, cool.
So those would be for older kids.
Have
So
you,
we'll see. What was that?
Have you considered other forms of the book medium, such as pop-up books?
Well, I don't know how you would print those. Like, I think it would be complicated. There's a bunch of non-standard forms, like you say, but I think they're complicated to print, like, self-initiated empire. It's like hard to print how to do that. That's why they're kind of in these simple paperback forms. Plus, you are kind of limited when it comes to what's put on Amazon and how it's put on Amazon, for those ones that are distributed wider.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be really cool, but I have to, get to up my social media profile before that kind of stuff can happen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, are you still a teacher? Do you teach as well? Or
No, I'm not a teacher. I'm a child and family therapist. That's why I said I could help with the urine issue.
oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you're a kindergarten teacher also.
Well, I was for 7 years. I was a kindergarten teacher. So that's kind of where these books came from, in a way. I mean, because both of them I wrote a long time ago, and I've gone through a succession of illustrators, but nobody would ever give me like totally finished product, that was really nice. Everybody would do sketches for free. We got some tattoo artists. Those are funny drawings that are kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And I should probably send this to you, Bethany. That would be funny, give you a laugh, because they're creepy. They're like super creepy because they're done with that tattoo style or whatever. But my friend, I guess this tattoo artist saw the manuscript in the back of my friend's car, and so my friend handed it to him, and he did some sketches for me. But yeah, entirely too creepy for like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So
Depends on the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
It's a little smaller audience there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's just for fun, and like I said, it's just they're kind of autobiographical. I think they're more interesting if you read it that way, like most children's books are. Like most real good children's books have like some sort of autobiographical component to them. And most books in general, not that you're afraid that zombies are going to take over the world, Bethany, but there might be parts of your book that are in some ways autobiographical too. Are there?
You kind of cut out just a little bit. Parts of my book that what?
Are there parts of your book that are autobiographical?
No, it's more of I have characters who I loosely base off of people that I know.
Okay.
A little bit, but it's not really. I mean, I have places that are familiar, like the places I visited in Oklahoma, stuff I know about Albuquerque, and then Tucson, obviously. So things like that. But yeah, I wouldn't really say it's probable or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
Dungeon Dan just hopped on. He goes, "Sorry, I'm late. Was pulling a Katy Perry. Changed a light bulb in the kitchen. I'm an electrical engineer."
Who's Dungeon Dan?
He is one of our guests who likes to hop on the show. So he definitely likes to keep us on our toes with stuff. But yeah, I gotta agree with you on that, Dan.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is going to take us on a tangent for a second because
You're
all the
totally
memes that have been coming up like that, like I found a fish. I'm a marine biologist.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard about whatever she did in that shuttle, or I guess she was acting crazy in the shuttle. There's a video on that, right?
Well, yeah, like a lot of people I think it's mostly because her and Gladys were saying that they're astronauts now. And it's like, no, you didn't. You literally rode. Like you went for a ride. Yeah, you didn't fly it. You didn't do anything. You went for a ride. So just because you went for a ride up there doesn't make you an astronaut.
Yeah, like they didn't go through like like I don't even think they had to do like astronaut training or anything like that.
I think they did like a little bit, but not like the actual training. But I do remember her saying, she's like, there's no way to train for anti-gravity or something. And everyone's like, yes, there is.
For the planes that take you through anti-gravity.
Yeah. Not to mention like the underwater training they do and stuff. And
yeah, there's all kinds of training for that, actually.
Isn't there like a centrifuge thing that they do? Yeah.
What?
Isn't there like a centrifuge thing where they spin you around and like try to screw up your equilibrium or something? And
I mean, I rode Mission to Mars. I'm an astronaut now too.
Brought to you by Disney.
Exactly.
And Katy Perry.
Wait, I've got on Space Mountain. Am I an astronaut?
There we are.
Oh, and the
Star
submarine.
Tours.
The submarine ride.
Yeah.
Does
Oh,
that
the
make
submarine ride, yeah.
that makes me a deep sea diver too? Hey, Dungeon
There you
Diego
go.
and I have something in common now. We're both deep sea divers.
Well, and I guess everybody saw that fish that came up from the deep, right? So does that mean
We're all marine biologists.
Oh my gosh, that was trippy.
He was actually looking for Nemo and the bluefish.
Dory.
Thank you.
yeah, Dory.
Did you have a Dory moment right there?
That
I
was
couldn't
definitely
find
a
it.
Dory moment. I
Just
mean,
keep
to be
swimming.
fair, will any of us ever go to space? Yeah, probably not, because we're not millionaires.
Yeah.
But being able to be a passenger because you're rich, yeah, that doesn't make you an astronaut.
Yeah. No.
And weren't they on the edge of space too? There was a whole
Yeah, they didn't even get into orbit.
Mhm.
yeah. There was a whole like you could see space from where they were or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was technically space. It was just like the outer edge of the atmosphere or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
To be fair, that's pretty far up.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I mean, I would want to do it.
Oh
I
yeah, but like it takes me longer to make Kraft mac and cheese than their whole trip took. Like
How long did it take?
it was the whole trip in total was 11 minutes.
You got to like
We've
mix.
been on the air longer.
So, yeah, no, I've been talking incessantly and annoyingly for 10 minutes for longer, right?
Yeah. You've definitely been talking for longer. It hasn't been incessant.
No.
You've been talking for longer.
Okay. So space, the Kármán line, which is technically what delineates between space and not, is about 62 miles above sea level.
Is that how far they went?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
let's
that's
find
the
out.
demarcation
I have
line
Google.
between
I can
space
figure it
and
out.
Okay.
Okay.
Crystal's on the lookout for it. She's going to look it up, see where exactly they went.
Oh,
I'm not
geez.
into top and stuff.
Can I be NSFW for a second? Because as soon as I said how far up, the first thing that came up in Google, I mean, I guess people are trying to learn about their anatomy, so that's great. How far up is the cervix?
Well, that's information that people need to know.
Shoot, now I want to know what mine prompts.
Yeah, that goes into a whole other topic, which I have to deal with a lot in therapy. Which
It's okay. Mine wants to know how far up does a colonoscopy go.
yeah,
Wow.
That's also a good thing to know. That's important to
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
That
shows all of our
they went up
searches
to the line that Rikki mentioned, to the Kármán line. So they went up to the boundary of space. They did not enter space.
As Dungeon Dan says it, they pulled the famous just the tip.
In a rocket that fits that very well.
Did you see the edit where it showed them in their rocket and then it cut to the Austin Powers? Where
Yes.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Oh, that's like a big hair.
you guys need to send me links. Like, I need to see the material.
It's just TikTok. It's just, well, I think it's because Krystal and I just send each other the same videos back and forth.
Ask Jeeves is your friend.
Oh, you know what was
I mean,
fantastic?
Google.
Google.
I think the favorite video I've seen is where somebody on the inside opened the door before Jeff Bezos was able to open it on the outside.
Yeah.
And then they had to close it again because he was supposed to open it. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
My brother was talking about this.
What'd you say, Jim?
My brother was talking about this.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened with the door. Like, can he open a door? Or what is the,
yeah, like he was supposed to open the door from the outside and was supposed to be this big thing, but they opened it from the inside, and then he yelled at them to like close it again so that he could open it and do his big.
Yeah,
thing.
but they were already on the ground though. They didn't like try to open it in space or anything.
Oh no, yeah, they were already on the ground.
I just like
Pretty
the
sure
cut.
62 miles up you don't want to open the door at that
Yeah.
height.
Yeah.
It's like the cut where they had the audio of the girls as they were going down, and you just hear screams, like a plethora of screams.
It's like the ride that just like goes up and then drops you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Put your hands
Yeah.
up, Yzma.
No, seriously, there needs to be some links that are passed around after this podcast. So that I can see some of that. That's good.
So interesting that you have, rich people going up almost to space. Fortunately, they fared way better than the rich people a few years back who went down to underwater.
Yeah, we were talking about this too last time, a couple days ago, I think. And I just can't believe how janky that particular whatever craft it was. But is it true, guys, that it was like a video game controller that they were using to
Yeah,
go
it was
down?
like a PlayStation or Xbox or something.
Like there are things that are just fundamentally flawed. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Wow. Yeah.
Because it wasn't a submarine, it was a submersible something, and it had all of its controls were external to the actual craft.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, external to actual craft. What?
So somebody else, so nobody inside of the submersible was able to control it. Like it was, because it just I'm a nerd, and so I was reading a bunch of stuff. Like I'm not going to remember it all now because it was a few years ago, but I was definitely reading a bunch of stuff when it happened. So basically, they take it and like a crane-like thing drops it in the water, and then they use the remote control thing to control it, but not anybody in the craft does that.
So that means that somebody from the surface was controlling the craft?
Wait, I thought the pilot was inside. But I guess
maybe it was, but it wasn't. But there's not any controls. Like it can be controlled externally. Then maybe. Now I'm not. I mean, it's been a few years, so you don't have to trust me 100% on this.
Well, in any case, when you have more money than sense,
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, that
it wasn't built properly.
Yeah.
And they had been told it wasn't built properly before they went.
Wasn't it like a cardboard box and like I don't know, like an egg container and just bizarre,
I mean, they've done several. Like it was a successful business for a while. I think that one just it had just been going on for so long, and I don't think they kept up with maintenance. So we've got some stuff. Okay, so Dungeon Dan, that's what we were talking about with the Austin Powers reference right there.
Yep.
Okay.
He says, I have to say this is the quickest show derailment I've ever pulled off.
I like Dungeon Dan just right now based on, I like him. That's cool.
Mom says hi, Sherlock, but that was Indy. Sorry, get your grand cats right. And then Dan says it was a remote launch. No pilot, just rich idiots.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah, there was no pilot. Woohoo! I remembered something correctly.
But do you guys realize that means that they really had to trust the person? What if the person at the surface wants to get a Starbucks or just gets distracted?
There was a Starbucks on the ship.
Yeah,
they were out because it was being controlled from a ship in the middle of the ocean. I mean, there could have been some ships have Starbucks on them.
Well, I mean, did the thing with Katy Perry have a Starbucks? Like,
flower.
Okay.
Flower. She was holding a flower.
It had a flower.
She was there. She was holding a flower. Okay.
Yeah, she was like holding a flower and staring at the thing and smiling and floating, and everyone's like, "Okay,
yeah,
you do you."
Was it like a pensive moment?
I don't know.
Have like a dramatic gesture.
What was that sea thing called? Like Seagate or I'm trying to Google it and I don't know.
Like Seagate or something.
So while you're looking that up, I was curious about like the diving bell, because that's one of the earlier submersibles, And in fact, it's a rigid airtight chamber that transports divers underwater and allows them to walk around, like work on the surface for air, that sort of stuff. The earliest diving apparatuses was Aristotle first describing its use in the 4th century BC.
Aristotle was a smart dude. Like,
I mean, they were smarter than these guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
They were a lot.
there's compelling evidence that they didn't go up at all. A couple pictures show mannequins in the seats seen through the windows. And then Dad says it was only 11 minutes. I'm sure they could do without a Starbucks for 11 minutes.
I don't know.
But they have
so one of the actual astronauts that was on there, like somebody NASA trained though, Amanda Wynn, she had to put off her NASA training due to a sexual assault that she experienced. So after a while, she didn't think she'd ever get the chance to go up into space. And I'm like, she's the one that deserves, in my opinion, the attention. Like her. Yeah. And then there was like another actual astronaut that her name is escaping me at the moment. So I apologize to her. Not that she's ever going to see this, but like, I'm like, there were a couple actual astronauts on there. Actually NASA trained astronauts. And I'm like, they're the ones that did all the work. Katy Perry and that news anchor they were just passengers.
Okay, Dungeon Dan. It says, because I looked up, I go, was the pilot inside the Ocean Gate implosion? I found out it's Ocean Gate, not Seagate.
Ocean Gate, okay.
It says, yes, Stockton Rush, the CEO and founder of Ocean Gate, was the pilot of the Titan submersible that imploded. He was one of 5 people who died in the event. The other 4 were Paul, a French deep sea explorer, and Hamish, a British businessman, along with Shahzada and his son Shulman. I know I messed that up.
And his son, the kid, was like, he was scared of the ocean. Like, my heart breaks for him still to this day because he was so scared. He didn't even want to go. And his dad was like, no, you're going.
He was on the vehicle?
Yeah, he was in
on Ocean Gate. Yeah, and he was only like 15.
Wow.
The implosion thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, of ways to go, though, that's probably one of the ways to go because no one even registered anything.
Oh, yeah, you have no time to register anything.
Yeah. It would be the ways to go.
Okay. You're trying to back up now.
Oh, yeah, no, the mannequins, I saw the thing about the mannequins on the space flight. I saw one photo, and I wasn't too sure. I wasn't convinced by that photo, honestly. I'm like, but yeah.
Is that like a QAnon conspiratorial craziness? Is that what that is? The mannequin thing?
Potentially. I don't know. I think it's still too new of a theory to know for sure.
Okay, but it's like a conspiracy theory kind of, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a theory people have right now. I mean, that happened like a week ago. So
I don't think it's quite reached conspiracy yet. It's just more of a people just chatting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure where, when you reach that threshold.
Probably when it has significance, which for this topic it won't. Like historical significance, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I mean, part of the thing, and I think I wrote this to you, Bethany, in my text that was kind of funny, was I like the idea. I just like the concept that 80% of the ocean has been unexplored. I know we're transitioning to the ocean, but again, by that comment, but
I mean, 2 of your stories take place there, so probably more.
And so, yeah, but I like the idea that it's unexplored. That's kind of cool. So that was part, because you were asking like what inspired certain things, or what kind of. I think it was what folkloric things are you interested in, or like different cryptid creatures or that kind of thing, and I like that idea. I mean, I don't know if I would explore the ocean with something that was controlled by a PS3 controller, nor would I go anywhere with Katy Perry, just generally. But whatever. yeah. So hopefully she never sees this. But whatever.
The oceans are pretty terrifying. So I'm more of a beach goer. I like the beach with my little beach chair and my book and my drink. I'm not so much of the ocean explorer.
Yeah. Although I've lost my crutches because I have a disability. I've lost my crutches in the ocean
Oh gosh.
four times.
That sounds like
Yeah.
something I would do.
I'd like to go in at least neck deep, if not deeper.
Mhm.
But it's definitely dangerous. But whatever. You have to take risks. But I still wouldn't get in a craft like that. But yeah, I've done that several times. Yeah.
I like to get out into the ocean where my feet can't touch. One time I did that and somebody grabbed me from beneath the waves. It was a scuba diver. Freaked me out.
Yeah.
Rikki would just do that to me in the pool, and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, but in the pool you can see. I couldn't see what was happening. I was just like, I had no idea I was out so far. I knew there were scuba divers because we were out there because we were like camping with the scuba divers. I had no idea I had swum out as far as the scuba divers go, and I couldn't see them.
Yeah, you were out there pretty far then. I mean, because people don't scuba in shallow water.
Yeah, so apparently I was out pretty far, and all of a sudden something grabs my leg. You don't expect that when you're swimming in the ocean.
No. No, or whatever grabs you has teeth. Dungeon said the Marina Trench fascinates him, which I was thinking about that when we were talking about maybe doing a Loch Ness thing. I think just ocean stuff in general, and we can include that. That would be a pretty cool episode. Rachel's holding out hopes for sea elves, which that's the first I've heard of that. That's cool. And then Dan wanted to know if I enjoyed San Diego. Oh, I didn't know you lived there. That's pretty cool. Yes, I did enjoy San Diego. It was super fun. I can say it now that I'm back, but it was a solo vacation, and that was a new experience for me. I never vacationed solo before, but it was kind of nice. Yeah, I could nap whenever I wanted to. That was super fun. Yeah, and just kind of decide what I want to do when I want to do it, and didn't have to go based off anyone else's timeline. So it was a really fun trip. I did SeaWorld, I did the beach, Seaport Village, all sorts of stuff. And then I just hung out.
Anybody interesting? Like, did you meet any strangers that now are not strangers anymore?
No, I didn't really want to talk to anyone I didn't know. But it was funny though, because I'm on Tinder, and so when I was on Tinder, like it switched to San Diego, and I didn't know that. And within an hour of being there, I had like 300 hits. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane!"
Okay.
Yeah, I had to put that on incognito. I'm like, I don't need dealing with this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw a Dateline documentary about something like that. I don't need to be part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of documentaries about something things like that.
Well, this episode has definitely flown by, but we are at our hour mark right here.
Oh, dang.
So, I was surprised. Like my little alarm went off. I was like, oh shoot, we're almost done.
Yeah, the last time I looked at the little time thing, it was like 30 something.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't talk too much. I mean, I don't know.
You were great.
Yeah, this is my first podcast ever. I want you to know that you kind of helped me in that process. So
well, good. We definitely want to help out. So why don't you do another shout out of where people can find your books and anything that we can look forward to seeing from you in the future.
Okay, so this is the Lonely Little Jellyfish, and it's available on Amazon. Is there a link below or a link associated with this video at all?
We can make sure to add one.
Yeah, we can put it on our post and stuff. Yeah,
add it on the YouTube. Also, I have a bunch of family members that want to like watch this thing and laugh at me incessantly. So I need to know where it's posted or whatever. As well. But yeah, this is available on Amazon. It's kind of a cute book if you have little kids. I think it's well suited for them. And and then this is another one. Oh my god. My Starbucks. But this is the Gentle Draft. It's my first book, and It's also available on Amazon. So yeah, those are
And
my
then you
books.
said locally, if somebody's in Tucson, it's available at Antigone Books and the Littlest Bookshop.
Yeah, the Littlest Bookshop and Antigone Books. I also had some at Bookman's, but I think they were sold.
Nice.
So I need to drop some more off there. But there are some, because I just dropped 2 off at Antigone Books. This one, since it's like a summer book, I haven't given it to Antigone, but I'm going to. Um, so then you guys, whoever's here in Tucson can pick it up.
Nice.
And yeah, they actually send me physical checks. So
Cool.
kind of retro too. It's kind of weird. Um, but yeah. So those are my books, and yeah, I hope somebody will buy them and read them and like them.
Absolutely.
Right
Well,
on.
thank you for being on our show. I'll look up the links and see if we can post them in the comments for people to view. And then for you and your friends and family to view, this should be available on YouTube shortly. Normally only takes like an hour or so after we finish recording, and you can kind of see it on YouTube.
Okay, no, that's great. And Bethany, you have the links, like they're in my the Gentle Giraffe. If you look up Gentle Giraffe Books, that's what all my books are under, or James Escalada, and they'll come up. And the links to buy my books are also on Instagram and my Facebook as well.
Okay. Yeah. So his profile it's very small, but I hope people can see it. But can you guys read that? Gentle Giraffe Books.
Mhm.
So that is James's profile on Instagram right there.
Okay.
And it has a link. So I'll see if I can post that there for it. So
And then
anyway,
I post all sorts of like content if new, if I get illustrations that are good and different things, I post different content like that. I'm not as good as Katy Perry, but we're getting there.
we're getting there.
I'll work on it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
sorry,
very
I
much.
didn't interrupt you.
No. I've definitely talked enough, and thank you guys for listening. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so
Well,
much
thanks
for
being
joining
on.
us.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. And anytime you want to have me on, just as, I don't know, that cred boy in the corner, I'll definitely, I would love to just be in the crowd, if possible. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, and definitely check out his stuff online. And we will be back in 2 weeks. I think we don't have a topic. Oh, yeah. We're still trying to figure out a topic. Maybe that's when we'll do Loch Ness. I don't know.
We'll take.
Maybe we'll talk about that monster someday.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. And thank you for watching Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales.
Bye.
Bye.